You do?
Oh, yeah.
Do you still have the scale?
Well, the scale's actually at someone's office, but I have July 5th, which was a bad idea because I was with Lisa Sasevich July 4th drinking green tea, and then they were like, just put some tequila in the green tea. So I was like, I woke up the morning of July 5th at 4:45 because I had to be on camera, and I'm like, I think I'm drunk.
Oh no. You're like, I'm still drunk. And
I'm not gonna be able to pull this off. You know, I was like,
I bet you did that. Okay, good.
all right. So I was just gonna ask you something else, but am I doing you or direct to camera?
Me.
Okay.
Okay, so if we can just start with, as I mentioned, this is sort of tips from media mavens. Of course, I'm in the right place because you've done a whole lot of this kind of thing and you do it very well. So I'm hoping to use this to help, give other people some tips on what you do. So if you can just think back, and I know you have to go back a couple of years because you've been a master at this for several years, think back to the beginning, and maybe you can give me a little bit of an idea on some things that maybe were more challenging, or ways that you made your media appearances really count right from the start. So any way you want to phrase that.
Okay. I was very fortunate starting out in that one of the things that I did was create these 60-second wellness minutes, and I actually had to edit them myself. And nothing teaches you the weird stuff you do like editing yourself, those verbal tics, the weird facial expressions. So one of the best things you can do, and it's painful, is to make sure that when you're first starting, it's so easy now, just get a flip cam and videotape yourself doing this and watch for the weirdness that can come out.
That's a very good one, and I use that in my media training. A large part of what we do is actually critique old stuff, but if they don't have anything, we do just that. We just roll the camera and
perfect.
Check it out. Look at what's happening.
There's a couple lessons from Dr. Phil that I can share too.
Yes, I'd love to.
I was very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time when I got on the Dr. Phil show. A doctor had asked me to come help him in the big house when they started the weight loss shows, and I happened to have a professional grade scale in my car, and we used it. And so when they got ready to retest everyone, they needed the scale, and I had it, so it was perfect. So next thing I knew, I was the nutritionist on the show. Dr. Phil basically said, you go girl, you do it. I'm like, all right. And they sent me out to Texas to help one of the girls get started. And I remember one of the producers afterwards came back to me and said, you need to learn to speak in sound bites. If you speak in sound bites, we can do this a whole lot faster. So what he taught me to do was speak, and Dr. Phil talks about this, speaking at a 7th grade level, in sound bites with natural breaks, so that it's very easy for them to edit. That way that you're going to actually end up on camera rather than on the cutting room floor.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Maybe you can share a little bit about, are there any specific little tricks that you do to prepare for a media interview before you go on?
I learned my lesson in media by going on Dr. Phil for the first time, having never watched the show. Don't do that. Always know not only the show and the culture of the show, but also know what you want to present cold, and then be ready to be flexible. When I was on Bonnie Hunt, we had a 6-minute segment laid out with all the props, and props are a great trick. First of all, we need to be visual, but also they keep you lined up so you can stay on task, unless you're with Bonnie Hunt, who is so nutty that she decided to go just jump right into the middle. Luckily, I knew my lines so well and what I wanted to say that I was able to jump from here to here to here. And you really need to have that cold. It's sort of like knowing your tennis strokes, so that when you're out, you don't have to think, should I do my backhand or my forehand?
That's great. That's almost like muscle memory. When you tie what you're going to say to an object or a thing, that becomes sort of the trigger.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's exactly what you did. That's great.
Let me give one more on that one.
Yes.
One of the things I always think about when I'm doing a segment is I always prepare my segments, and I try to think of things that are hooky and very visual. I make sure that anything I'm talking about is some kind of visual associated with it for 2 reasons. Number one, it makes it way easier on me. I don't have to memorize things. I look at that visual and I remember what I need to say about it. But also, the producers and the hosts love visuals. It makes it much more interesting for the viewer.
That's great. Wonderful. What advice would you give someone who maybe wants to get on television and radio? They want to use this as a way to promote their business, but they're just not sure, and maybe some things that you wish that you knew before you started out?
If you want to use video, if you want to use media to promote your business, the first thing you want to make sure of is that you're really clear on your brand and your image and what you want to present. It makes no sense to go on TV and talk about, say, childhood obesity if your specialty is anti-aging. So at first I was saying yes to everything, and maybe that was good because I got to know a lot of people, but now I'm very clear on my message, my brand, and I say yes to those opportunities that really support and promote that, because then that means I'm going to draw the right people to my business.
That's a really important point. Thank you for that. How has being in the media changed the scope of your business?
The minute you're in the media, your credibility shifts. It greatly amplifies. You know, there's a lot of noise out there online. Everyone can do video. Everyone really is online. But when you can put a little icon like The Today Show, I was like, check the box. When you can put those on, even if it's just local ABC, you put that ABC icon on, it's street cred that most people will never get.
Very good. Very good. Just anything else that you would like to add?
One of the things that I've learned over the years, a secret to doing media, is you want to make sure that when you do media, that the traffic comes back to you. So here's what you do. When you're on the camera, and you let the producer know this ahead of time, say, you know, you might have a minute. I've been doing minute segments with Daily Buzz. You might have 6 minutes, but you're not having hours. So I say, you know, there's a lot of information I'd love to give the viewers, and I recognize we have a very short amount of time. So what I do have are my free training videos or my free handout or whatever this is online, and I'll give you a link so that you can offer that to all of your viewers as well. That way you really capitalize on that audience.
Very good.
Can we do that again?
Because
Did that fly go?
I know, I was like looking, I was
Oh,
watching you
darn
going,
it. I heard you making noise, and I was like, "Oh no, is that fly right there?"
it's
Oh.
right there, it's right there.
And that was really good.
I can do it again.
Okay,
All
good.
right, that's okay. Yeah, damn it, would you control your flies? Jeez, Susan.
Okay.
When you do media, you want to make sure that media counts, and being on TV is not enough. I mean, I was on the Today Show and didn't get any opt-ins for my list. What you do, and this is a great little secret, is you let the producers know ahead of time that you recognize that you're only going to have a short time on air, and you've got a lot of information you want to share, and you want to make sure that you don't leave the viewers kind of empty-handed. So you've created a free something. Could be a free training video, a free handout, a free shopping list, a free exercise that you're going to give them the link to so they can share it with your viewers.
Perfect. Very good.
That
That's
works like a
wonderful.
charm, man.
That is really good.
Done?
Is that good?